shit. Johnny Somali fucked.
Been a while since I talked about Johnny Somali. It's just like a never-ending character arc of lameness with this weirdo. Dude never really learns a lesson. It's pathetic. However, this did catch my attention.
Dumb.
Hopping over to The Man, Legal Mindset. In a tweet from March 6th yesterday, Legal Mindset says Ramsey's first day of trial
What's
just
cracking?
concluded. Ramsey
Arthur.
being Johnny Somali. He was 1 hour late and came in with his roommate Hank. Both Ramsey's lawyer and Ramsey had no idea about the new charges. So
I wonder what the lawyer was thinking.
The lawyer was thinking, paycheck's a paycheck. Because this motherfucker cooked anyway.
the next trial date is 3
Timu
weeks
lawyer.
from today,
Yeah.
April 9th. Johnny
What you
pled
think,
guilty
Arthur?
to
What
all
you
the other
think?
charges.
I would be too.
Details on those charges below.
They kind of trolling him,
The
too.
Matrix, man.
Yeah.
Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself
That's
here.
Neo's. Neo's trench coat.
For this Johnny Somali trial, I can certainly respect
Yeah.
it. And it's a nice coat. Classy look. I like it. But
Yeah.
that takes us over to
Oh my.
Johnny
Oh, that's
Somali.
him?
Oh my
Damn.
god. Oh man. Wow.
We can see, here's a picture of Somali with Hank going to that South Korean court.
Jesus.
People also pointing out once again that Somali's outfit's looking
There he
quite
is.
a bit oversized for him. And then there's this one, you know.
What a
he's,
fucking
He's
clown.
thrilled to
Yeah.
be there. This is what he loves to do. Loves
Oh my god. I guess this was probably before the court case.
I can't stand
Reminder,
this fool.
Ramsey faces a total of 4
Embarrassing.
charges.
That's a lot of
2
charges.
counts of obstruction of business and 2 violations of the Minor Crimes Act. Today, he pled guilty to 1 count of obstruction, convenience store.
I remember that
and
one.
2 counts of the Minor Crimes Act, dead fish harassment, and disrupting subway/bus.
Oh my
All right, now
God.
I'll play a very brief portion of Legal Mindset's stream. He's got some very interesting info regarding this additional charge and also the judge.
The judge was a different judge. So I went to this same courtroom
Oh, that's him.
in December to figure out the correct judge. So, and I didn't talk about this very much because I want to keep it secret from Ramsey. They changed the judge, which explains why new charges were added. Because now there's a new judge. The new judge comes in.
They're tag teaming on him, bro.
Oh, shit. He don't stand a chance.
He's getting 2v1. That's not fair.
He don't stand a chance. That's different.
Update stuff. This judge was very no nonsense, but
Thank God.
Ramsey thinks he got away with not being noticed at some things he did. The judge noticed.
Man, this guy is looking at South Korean prison for 10 years.
Oh.
I think maybe South Korea, in an effort to restore some degree of diplomatic relations with North Korea, they could make like a system to where if they really don't like you and you're like a foreigner and you come to Korea and you cause problems, they send you to North Korea and then North Korea deals with you. And like North Korea can take these people and basically just be like, it's like a punishment, right? Put them in a work camp or
Asman, is that a pipe dream? South Korea dealing with North Korea in any way? I don't see that ever happening, but I can only imagine. I mean, this guy here, he's shit. He would deserve going to North Korea and undergoing some digging, some hard labor out there in the yard, you know, beating up on some concrete or whatever, knocking down buildings, you know. It's a real indentured server type shit. But nah. There's not gonna be any type of relations between these two countries, man. No way. It would take a lot more than Johnny Somali.
something like that, right?
No.
Yeah, what if it reunites them? Yeah, this is the beginning of
Johnny Somali's not reuniting North Korea with South Korea. I know he's joking. Come
a
on.
very, very beautiful diplomatic relationship. 10 years is crazy. Is it really crazy? I mean, yeah, it is crazy. It's a lot.
Not crazy,
And,
it's just
is
not
it
possible.
really fair that like he goes to jail for 10 years because of this? Not really. But at the same time, I don't really have a lot of sympathy either because the guy made an entire
And if you think about it, if South Korea was to just give them Johnny Somali, he did nothing to these people. And I understand North Korea detests South Korea. The leadership over there is not fucking with them. So if they were to release Johnny Somali to North Korea, they might make him a politician. They might do something favorable to him just for the simple fact that he was terrorizing their people. You got to think about that.
entire career out of harassing people and being a public disturbance.
Yep.
So I think at a certain point, so punishments there are two functions that punishments have, right? And so the first function is to remove the person obviously out of society and to fairly punish them for what they're doing, right?
I say punish him for a few years and then extradite his sorry ass, like maybe possibly to Japan. Well, I don't know how. I think he's got trials going on in Japan, but like I don't know what's going on with that.
Right? But the second function that punishments have is to set an example for other people so other people don't do the same thing.
Exactly.
And so in a way,
I agree.
he's the one that's going to go to jail for a long time, but they're doing this to send a message to other people to not do it. And so I think that's basically it. Yeah, it makes him an example. And also, like, very importantly, this guy very actively and very consecutively went ahead and did a bunch of like annoying harassment things. He did this constantly, right? He's sitting around spamming Hiroshima, Nagasaki, which are the two cities that the U.S. bombed in Japan. He's spamming this in Korea and saying it to Koreans. What
the hell does that have to do with Koreans? What?
Really? He a retard. It's a retard. It's a real ass retard. Why not kick him out of the country? Because kicking him out of the country is the best case scenario for him. And so, like, what I'm saying is that
that is the best case scenario. Keep him there for a couple years, like I said, at least a few years. Beat the living shit out of him, spit in his food, make him kill roaches, all that shit. Just keep him there. I mean, don't kill him, but whoop his ass like on a weekly basis in prisons for the next couple years, and then extradite him elsewhere.
And a person gets punished for something that they're doing wrong, the goal also should be to how can we create an incentive mechanism that will prevent other people from doing this in the future. And the fact is that him going to jail for 10 years is a much better incentive for people to not do it in the future than him getting deported.
The best example of an American going out to a country and showing out, an American guy, like a little over a decade ago, he went to North Korea and misbehaved. Let me tell you something. Poor Otto.
Otto Warmbier was the American student who became a pawn in a game of international brinkmanship.
Yes.
Captured, held, and ultimately killed by a regime that his parents, Fred and Cindy, view as pure evil.
All I can say is Otto was treated just like they treat the people. He was a bargaining chip. He was put in a brain-dead condition from torture, and they did nothing. A year and 3 months later, they released him, and it was horrendous.
Lady, this boy went to North Korea and was not briefed on how it go down and how they see us.
The North Koreans are horrible people. The regime is horrible, disgusting human beings.
Listen, America's got a track record too, all right? Don't get it twisted, all right? But you can't go over there showing your ass thinking that you're invincible.
Criminals, thugs. It's a criminal enterprise in a concentration camp.
I can't hate on this man. He's grieving right now. I can't hate on him now.
Otto Warmbier grew up in the sleepy suburbs of Cincinnati.
Real question, what did he do over
proud.
there?
Tall and athletic, he excelled at sport and studied business at an elite university.
This is our last day together as Wyoming High School's class of 2013. Tomorrow morning, we will all belong to another class, another job, or another city.
To his mum and dad, he was the perfect son. How proud were you of Otto?
I was really proud. You know, it's a firstborn. What can I say? Everyone knows you have a special bond with a firstborn. He was a standout.
At the end of 2015, Otto had some spare time before taking up an internship on Wall Street. So, at the suggestion of one of his university professors, the 21-year-old booked a 5-day trip with a tour group to the world's most secretive state.
Worst mistake of your life.
What do you think the world needs to know about North Korea?
Don't disrespect them.
It's the scariest place in the world.
2, 1.
This is the last footage taken of Otto before he was plunged into a nightmare.
Sheesh.
As the group was boarding its plane home, Otto found himself at the back of the line.
Whose idea was it to go to fucking North Korea of all places? Whose dumbass idea was that?
Suddenly, he was seized by guards and marched off.
We were trying to protest and not get on the plane yet to wait for Otto.
Wait,
And there was about 3 of us.
why was he seized?
And,
What did he do?
The officers with machine guns made us get on the plane.
I guess if a guy with a gun tells you you've got to get on the plane, there's no arguing.
Yeah, who would have think? Seems like a good idea. What did he do?
North Korea accused Otto of trying to steal a propaganda poster from a restricted area at his hotel. Charged with subversion, he was hauled before the cameras to make what his parents insist was a staged confession.
For stealing a poster. That's it. And they bust his ass. Plucking a poster down from a wall. And they came for him with machine guns. Don't fuck with these people in North Korea.
On the early morning of January 1st, 2016, I committed my crime.
This is scripted.
In hindsight, it's tragic what my son went through. It's tragic. He was used as a political pawn, a hostage. Everybody knows it. It's absurd to think anything different.
I entirely beg you, people and government of the DPR Korea,
Look at him, making his grown man cry.
for your forgiveness. Please, I have made the worst mistake of my life.
Your tears don't work there, sir. Different
The North
country.
Korean regime showed no mercy. 2 weeks after his confession, Otto Warmbier was sentenced to 15 years of hard labour.
Oh, I didn't know it was 15. I didn't think it was 15.
Vanished into North Korea's notorious prison system.
And when that guard pushed Otto out of the door, think about when that door shut and he's alone with those bastards. Think about that. That's what I'm haunted by.
The only proof the North Koreans had of Otto's crime was this grainy and inconclusive surveillance footage. It's from a security camera at his hotel, and you can see the timestamp clearly, 1:57 a.m. on New Year's Day.
I remember getting back to the hotel somewhere around 3 a.m., not at all before 2 a.m.
That's not even close to 2 a.m. You're saying it was more than an hour after that video was supposedly shot that you and Otto returned to the hotel.
Correct. Everything about the whole story was fabricated, in my opinion.
Fabricated, but they have video. And that guy in the hallway was pretty fucking tall, so.
But I seen it.
Okay.
Rule, you seen it?
Fred and Cindy Warmbier say their son was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. They're convinced his arrest was a carefully calibrated act linked directly to North Korea's weapons program.
What?
That's when North Korea started firing off missiles, nuclear weapons, and using Otto as kind of like their, I don't know what you would call it, their.
They grabbed your boy just so they could fly some missiles. I'm not buying that. I'm sorry. I can't buy that shit.
Prize, their American prize, to rub it in America's face with
What's this lady talking about?
what they were doing.
Just a few days after Otto was seized, North Korea carried out its first nuclear test in 3 years, followed by the launch of a long-range missile. Tensions with the rest of the world were suddenly at an all-time high, and Otto became Pyongyang's human shield against any international backlash.
North Korea doesn't do anything by mistake. It was their 4th nuclear weapons test, and they had a lot of things they wanted to cover, and they felt like Otto was going to provide them the security.
Hold on. You said that's when it started. But you're saying, sir, that was their 4th test, so they were doing this before they even apprehended this boy. Please don't pull shit over my eyes and say it's soap. Please don't.
They needed to get away with these things.
For 15 traumatic months, Otto's parents, Fred and Cindy, were in the dark about the welfare of their son.
That's
They were
crazy.
told not to make a noise, not to upset the regime, for fear they could jeopardize Otto's safety.
First of all, I mean, just like if he did something wrong, I mean, there it is. He did something wrong. He got persecuted. But to say that, they were firing missiles, that it was this and that and the other, our son was the biggest piece to this. I'm like, come on, bro. Too thick.
That whole time we were told he was in perfect health.
By the North Koreans, by the CIA, by our State Department, that he's in perfect health. He's working at a camp. All their intelligence tells them that.
Well, that's not true.
If he was begging for help, we'll never know.
But even in their worst nightmares, they could never have imagined the circumstances in which he did.
At the President's direction, the Department of State has secured the release of Otto Warmbier from North Korea. He is on his way en route home to be reunited with his family.
Fred and Cindy discovered that for 15 of the months their son had spent in captivity, he'd been in a coma with a catastrophic brain injury. He arrived home blind, deaf, jerking violently, and howling. Otto would never be able to tell his side of the story. He died just 6 days later.
The easy thing would be for me to let North Korea continue terrorizing me by remaining quiet and doing nothing.
Huh?
The day is going to come when that regime is over. And I won't be happy then. There's nothing that can make me happy, but I'll be relieved.
I bet you North Koreans are looking at this lady and laughing their ass off. Because none of what you're saying is going to ever happen. But I feel bad for you and your son. Rest in peace, Otto. Moral of the story, behave yourself when you go to these countries. Damn shame. They made him do videos apologizing profusely. They were scripted and everything. They practically had a gun to the back of his head each time he was on camera. His parents couldn't get in contact with him. It was a messy affair. They finally released him to the States, only to die maybe a few weeks after coming home to his parents. He died. He was practically in critical condition when they picked him up at the airport. You know, the funny thing is we got such short memory as a society that, like, when we look at stories like this, we can see it on the news. It could go viral. But then next, 10 years, every decade or so, we forget something that happened. And you know what? Us Americans, we take too many things for granted. We're not invincible. And every 10 years, I guess we have to be reminded, which is really sad. John Somali, something similar may happen to him, but I doubt it's going to be anything as egregious as what that American guy went through in North Korea.
That's the truth. Because there's a reason why people act a fool in Japan and not China.
And then, like, me personally, I love to go to Japan and I love to experience their people and their lifestyle. And I would hate for them to see this guy when they look at me. This guy here puts a bad name in people's perspectives when they look at an American, lesser fair skinned American, such as myself. I served in the military, and I would, if I was deployed in another country and I saw this American acting up, I'd put him on his ass and leave him with a bloody nose, because I can't stand when people of a different land are being disrespected. I can't tolerate it.
There's a reason why people act a fool in the U.S., let's say, in some nice upper middle class Starbucks.
Act that way
but
here.
They don't
It's
go and
more
do
tolerable.
this down in Detroit.
Hit the lights, nigga.
Well, Detroit's a different animal.
Almost all of these people, they are making calculated decisions on who they harass, how they harass them, and where they go to harass people.
A lot of Americans, goofballs like this guy, they know exactly what places to go to start some shit, because they know that people have a tendency of being more polite and meek, if you will, because they don't necessarily counter bullshit like this.
So once you understand that, and,
This guy's
and
a
that's
bully.
why so many of these obnoxious, aggressive streamers go to places like Japan. They do because it's basically a PvE server. And big surprise, you have to set an example out of somebody like that.
I'd make an example out of him. I'd beat
You
his
do?
ass in front of the locals.
Wouldn't even hear about it. Yeah, that Korean taxpayers would support keeping him in jail as long as they feel like it. Yeah,
Of
I think
course.
so. So this is the perspective I have. I think it's a very good thing that they're punishing him a lot, because I think that he's the example that other people will use for not going to Korea and acting a fool.
My perspective is keep him in jail in South Korea, not North Korea. North Korea is not going to take him, and it's not going to be what you think. Keep him in South Korea. Put some bullies around him every week. Have a weekly beatdown. Have an allowance for him in behind bars where he's getting beat down, dragged, abused. And then you're just going to beat the stupid out of him. That's the whole point. He's just going to do it again unless you correct that shit right there behind bars. So you do it right then release him, and hopefully he'll do better, because the next time this keeps happening and he's going to fuck up his life. His life's going to be over. He's going to run across the wrong guy, and that's going to be that.
Because they'll see this happen to him and they'll think to themselves, nah, not me.
Exactly.
Yep, I don't want to do it.
I like that.
And every single live streamer will take that into account. That's why not a single fucking one of them do it in China or Saudi Arabia.
Both of y'all niggas.